What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Joining me today, as always, is Stan the Man and our trusty assistant, Forky, intern on the channel. And Stan looks like he brought me a nice energy drink. If you ever tried these bangs, they're actually pretty good. This is the best flavor I've tried, the black cherry vanilla. I was dragging it today. Stan comes through like he always does. Thank you, Stan. And today's comic, get off there, Spider-Man Life Story number 5, the aughts, or the 2000s. The music you hear in the background, the Spider-Man soundtrack from the PS4 game. This is the best music. Well, I don't know if it's the best, but it is definitely the best Spider-Man you're gonna get since Sam Raimi. I like the soundtrack better. Danny Elfman did the soundtrack for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, which was fine. It was adequate. I was gonna actually listen to it. It's just too Danny Elfman for me. But the guy who does, I don't even remember, is Joe Pisciano or something. I'm telling you, you play this PS4 game, Spider-Man. It captures Spider-Man. I bought a PS4 for this game, and I was not let down. I am telling you guys, this is it's not only the best superhero game I've ever played. Of course, obviously, that makes it the best Spider-Man game I've ever played. But it is just a phenomenal Spider-Man experience. If you are a fan of Spider-Man, you want a great story of Spider-Man, you want to play Spider-Man, this doesn't get any better than this game. It is phenomenal. Anyways, so that's what I'm going to be pairing Spider-Man with today. As you can see, I have a Milky Way fudge. Ash, what are you doing? Thought you hated Milky Way. I thought you were Team Gummy. I am Team Gummy, man, but I'm actually Team Good Candy. Milky Way, when I was a kid, I liked Milky Way. And I don't... It's not that good anymore because it's just sweet. When I was a kid, I didn't have discerning taste. If it was sugar, I would eat it, right? Like, you could just put sugar in a cup and I would just drink it down. Like, but now I have discerning taste. I like flavor. I like the flavor of caramel, chocolate, and Milky Ways don't have that. So, anyways, if this is the first time you're watching the channel, if you haven't been familiar with what's been going on, there's this new CG out there called Candygate. And they're out there trying to push this agenda of Milky Ways on people. And they just want sweet, bland, crappy candy. And they're trying to tear down this idea that a few of us in the know, we know that gummy bears are the king of all candy. But it's like, you know what? I like lots of candy. So I thought I was going to be open-minded, and I'm going to try these other Milky Ways. Because maybe, the plain Milky Way kind of sucks, but maybe they got it right with something else. One of my biggest problems with Milky Way is that stupid nougat thing in the middle. What is that? It's like a flavorless sugar. But this is fudge. I like fudge. Fudge and caramel? Maybe it'll be good. Maybe this will be good. I've heard some iffy things. People have been like, man, what's going on? Okay. So I'm going to read some Spider-Man. I'm going to eat some Milky Way fudge. I'm going to try to stay awake. And we'll be back with a review. Both the candy bar. Yeah, get to it, old man. Okay, all right. All right, we're back. Man, this music fit this book perfectly. It's like right on cue. I love it when that happens. So, I got a Milky Way fudge bar. It's empty. It sucked. It sucked. The Milky Way Midnight, aka Milky Way Dark, is still the only one that's any good. This is just like a normal Milky Way, but it might actually be sweeter. The fudge it tastes more like a brownie than fudge, I guess. And I guess it added a slight, it had that brownie taste, a little. So it didn't have a complete sense of, it had like an extra flavor. It wasn't just pure sugar. But man, it was super sweet. This is for kids. This is if you don't have an unrefined palate, if you just have a super sweet tooth and you just want super sweet, ooey gooey, fake chocolate with caramel, yeah, stick to gummy bears. Or if you like chocolate, like I do, stick to good chocolate like Ghirardelli's. Or Lindt. Lindt makes good chocolate too. But anyways, you're not here for that. You're here for Spider-Man Life Story, the aughts. This one's been kind of controversial. Some people have been dogging it. So I was really worried going in. I was like, oh man, did Zdarsky drop the ball? What happened? I can assure you, he didn't. This is 5 out of 5 home runs. Zdarsky is batting 1,000. This is probably, I'm trying to think here. Yeah, this is the best book in comics. Hawkman has taken a little bit of a dip because its big arc is done, and now it's sort of doing kind of filler in-betweener issues, and it's going to deal with the Year of the Villain crossover. So it's still a good book, mind you. Not dogging Hawkman in any way. Hashtag read Hawkman. It just has slipped from the top spot. Last Night on Earth, the Batman Last Night on Earth, was phenomenal. Best single issue I have read in a long time. But a single issue does not make a series. So I'm not going to call that one. That one's ineligible. So this one is 5 issues now, and this is certainly the best thing Marvel has done. So let's get into the book. We start off right with the action. Look at this. Boom, you open up and bam, Peter Parker's getting slammed into a car. Or Spider-Man. Never seen someone so mad. Rah, and he throws a taxi. About the lack of goth clubs in Manhattan. Perfect Peter Parker line. Or Spider-Man line. I thought you were the one, but you aren't, are you? You're an imposter, a copy. Did the real Spider-Man know this was going to happen? Leave you to die? Screw you, Vlad. I'm Spider-Man. And that's what it should say. It shouldn't have this cuss words. What is it with modern SJWs and their need to insert forced cursing all the time? Spider-Man doesn't have to cuss, right? He doesn't have to cuss. Stupid. But anyways, that's a minor tidbit. I can just read that as anything I want, right? Because it's just a bunch of symbols. You're just a 2-bit creep. Like all the rest. Big men thinking they can... Did he think he could trick me? I'm not some man in a costume. Some simpleton robbing banks. I'm forever. And you're just like, oh no. What is going on? Spider-Man, no. Cut to, and I will feed. And now we see Peter Parker. Remember last issue, 10 years ago, in actual comic time here, Peter left Ben Reilly everything and was like, here you go, you're now Peter Parker, have my company, I'm going to be with my family. And it was a great story, loved it. He's with his family, 10 years later, he's still there, kids are growing up, about to go to college. So, given any thought to Stanford lately? No more than usual. Claire, your mom and I, we love you. We love having you here. But you need to start making decisions. That full scholarship isn't going to be there forever. God, Dad, I know. I don't want to go to school. Maybe I just don't want to be another student doing what's expected. And then, it's like, honey, you have a gift, blah, 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 blah. And family talking. And then it's like, Dad, come quick. Benji, what's going on? It's Uncle Ben. Peter, oh God. Spider-Man dead. Hero revealed to be industrialist Peter Parker. No statement yet from Parker Industries. No, this can't be. Ezekiel was right. Oh, Ben, I'm sorry. So now Peter's all torn up. He just left Ben with all this, and it caused his death. And here we see he tells him about this prophecy or whatever, and some creature named Morlun would come to feed on him, and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, he's after me, MJ. I need to fly to Russia, to Fiji, figure out how to track him so I can stay a step ahead. Oh, God, and Stark, he's going to take my company now that the world knows about Spider-Man. Whoa, who cares about their company? You can't walk this back. We need to think and go together to... This isn't a discussion. Oh, shit. Is Peter Parker manning up? Dad, I don't have time, Claire. I need to. Dad, you can't run from this. He'll kill you all to get to me. I have to. And this part, I both liked and it bothered me. I liked, first of all, that these characters Zdarsky took time to write these, I say fictional characters, but even fictional in the world of Spider-Man. These characters don't really exist. But he took time to give them personality and meaning and motivations, and they feel three-dimensional. She has to remind Peter Parker of his responsibility. And this is the same. I had this problem with Into the Spider-Verse movie, where Miles is trying to tell Peter, stop being a loser, great power comes great responsibility. It's like, no one has to tell Peter Parker this. Now, this isn't quite so overt and stupid as Spider-Verse, but it's still kind of there where she's like, look, you got to do something. You got to be a hero. And she tells him that during that, so this is the comics reference to 9/11, where she saw him on that day have the mask as he was holding up stuff, and she put it together and all these things, and he's like, I know you've never let this go. You have to be a hero, she's telling him. Yeah. So we're at the White House now. Mr. Stark, how did it? The president isn't in a mood today, Sam. Apparently one of the most notorious unregistered heroes, also being one of my business rivals, isn't playing too well in the media. The conspiracy-minded think that me enforcing the act as a Secretary of Defense is clearly just to ruin my competition and get richer. It's not like you didn't know about Parker, so I know, but, sir, sorry, Sam, this war has just... Peter and I never saw eye to eye, but I respected him. I respected Spider-Man. Any word on the battle in Jersey? So this is Marvel Civil War, right? It's going on, and they're kind of talking about that. This is pretty interesting. It's like some bad news, but turns out, and Daredevil was finally captured, but there's some bad news. Turns out he's a blind civil rights lawyer, and it's locked down. But the media's gonna have a field day if that gets out. And I really like this. I like the concept of Civil War. I think it needs to be done. But it's good that the comics broach this subject, because what would happen? I mean, there really is a solid argument to be made here that Tony Stark makes about heroes with all these powers can't just go off and do whatever, without some accountability. So anyways, they're talking about this, and it's like a story breaks from the Bugle, and here's Peter Parker giving an interview to the Daily Bugle, explaining how he's Peter Parker, and that Ben Reilly was just a clone. He basically spills the beans and reveals all this. So, J. Jonah Jameson is dead. That was part of the 9/11 thing that you saw. He was in New York for the funeral, and the 9/11 also happened. So the Bugle's like, the genie's out of the bottle, Spider-Man, da-da-da. I don't think it's going back in. So he's left the interview, and he's going down, walking down the street, and he's talking, I bet he's right. All I'm doing is buying time and hopefully drawing Morlun out. I know Claire is right, too, that I need to stop him before anyone else gets hurt. But after that, no more Spider-Man. No more, hello, Peter, conflict. He's at Parker Industries trying to take care of business. Back from the dead, eh? Tony Stark's here. How lucky. And man, do they make Tony Stark villainous. It's been a while, or maybe it hasn't. Hard to tell when clones are involved. I'm here to offer you a deal. A good one. The only one. I'm here to run my company, Tony. I don't have time for whatever you're peddling. You know what, Pete? In all the years we've known each other, I never asked you how you stay so fit. So keep in mind, the Bugle hasn't broken the story yet. So Peter Parker, really, dogs? Come on. So the world doesn't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They kind of thought so because he was dead, but then it turns out Peter's alive. So anyways, so Tony's now alluding to him. It's like, I know you're Spider-Man, da-da-da. And here we see, Parker's just not having it with Tony. Which I find really ironic how in the comics, Parker and Tony being at edge, but in the movies, Parker and Tony are super chummy. It's just, yeah, I don't think the MCU gets it right. This comic, I really do feel gets it right. And there's this whole part where Parker and Tony have this argument about the Superhuman Registration Act. It's like, you didn't register. We have grounds to seize your assets as they may have been unfairly acquired through powers. Like, did your secret spider sense stop you from making bad business choices? It's like insider trading through superpowers. So Tony is like blackmailing him here. I can grant you amnesty. I can pass off your company shares to your family. You just have to come quietly, receive training, become a U.S. Avenger on the side of law and justice. What do you say? Peter's just getting furious. Do it for MJ. Do it for your kids. Drop dead, Tony. I really wish you wouldn't have said that. And so, of course, we get the Fascist Brigade, led by Captain Manvers herself. Of course, now we have to do this the hard way. So back to the Parker family. They're live in Oregon, of course, because that's where everyone moves from New York. You go to Oregon and become all lefty. And it's funny, they're trying to portray Stark here as, the lefty guy, but honestly, state control, absolute authoritarian, those are all leftist ideas. So it's weird how you get leftists, they write ideas, they write about their own ideas being the enemy, but they don't understand it's like their own ideas. And the problem is because they don't recognize, like, they always side with it when it's their ideas, when it's something they're cool with. But then as soon as someone who's not on their side does the same thing, they hate it. It's kind of like the same thing with the concentration camps on the border, with all the facilities on the border and stuff, and the liberals going outraged about it. It's like, these were all created under liberal, or the Democratic administration under Bill Clinton, and Obama furthered it. Actually it's reduced under Trump, but everyone's freaking out about Trump and talking about totalitarianism and tyranny and fascism, and you're all Nazis, and it's like, you were all cool with this when you guys were doing it. Now it's not you. Anyways, I digress into politics here. I move on to comics. So guess who shows up? Dun, dun, dun. And it's like, hello, Parkers. Is Peter home? I didn't do the voice. Move, old man, move. Damn it, Peter. You can't win this fight. You know that. Been too long. Rusty. Spider sense can warn me of danger, but my body needs to be able to move with those warnings. He's getting zapped. No, can't let. And then Iron Man clocks Peter into a bus. Ba-boom. And then he says, beating up people, arresting people who have only ever saved lives? How do you even sleep at night, Tony? Good point. Tony's become a total villain. Here's the Fascist Brigade in action, led by... Where's Captain Manvers? To tell you the truth, Peter, I haven't slept in years. Too much work to do. Too many people need help. That's what we do, Peter. A unified front to keep the world safe. Not sure I agree. Not sure he does either. Ka-clang! Yeah, Captain America, my man, shows up. So glad that at least in uber liberal America, with the far lefties writing comics, that they get Captain America right. The guy who still fights for freedom. And just the best Avengers Assemble line I've read in a long... Avengers Assemble. I was like, yes. Run, run, run. Get Mom to the car. Go, go, go. No. And so the vampires... Oh, such a shame. I hunger. I wonder where I could get a snack. And this is where you find out Peter's kids have powers. Dun, dun, dun. And then back to the fight, and it's just fantastic. We see the kids are fighting the vampire, getting their ass kicked, of course. Peter is broken into his own company, and he says, God help me, no matter how many years pass. Oh, sorry, I was skipped ahead. He's like, for Claire and Benji, for MJ, and God help me, no matter how many years pass, for Uncle Ben. That's right. Peter, this is the core kernel that drives Peter Parker, for Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben died on his watch. He could have done something, but he didn't use his powers for, to be responsible. And that's driven him ever since. And when writers don't get that, you miss Spider-Man. This is something that Miles Morales doesn't have. This is something that Gwenpool doesn't have. This is something that Silk doesn't have. This is something that Superior Spider-Man doesn't have. All of these other characters are just stupid tokenized knockoffs that are silly, that they're imposters of Spider-Man. Spider-Man isn't a dude wearing a costume. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And Peter Parker is driven by great power comes great responsibility. And here he is, leaving his family to do the right thing. And he's got all these cool-ass costumes. Meanwhile, his family's getting their asses kicked by his arch villain. And he's going off in the forest. Claire gets a scratch on his face and causes him to bleed, which is kind of important. He's like, ah. And they chases him into the woods. And then Benji is like, wait a second, is that blood? What's going on? Like, he's supposed to be indestructible, but you hurt him. So he's putting 2 and 2 together. That must be it. You hit him with everything you got when I'm on the ropes. And so he goes and charges in, and then the villain thinks, oh yeah, it's like the young always think they can fight me because they imagine they'll live forever. And this was a really cool heroic moment. I don't know Benji from anything. He's just introduced in this book. But he just throws himself out there to be a punching bag so that his sister can come in and do the right thing. And he's getting fed upon, and like he could die. Like if she didn't understand what he's saying or what, like, and what is she saying? He's, the villain's doing this little monologue. After I feed on you, da 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 da. And he's like, you're only indestructible when you're not feeding. So he figures out that when he's feeding, he's vulnerable. And he's like, what? And she clobbers him with a tree trunk. Bam! And he flies over and stake through the heart. And he's like, you can't. And it's like, damn it, Steve. There are too many dead. We cut back to the Civil War action. You live in a country with laws. Stop this madness. And then Spider-Man shows up. I just know your hearts can't take getting... It's like, calm down, gentlemen. I just know your hearts can't take this getting so agitated. And then he's like, really? I know a lot of things about you, Tony. Zach, you're manipulative, egotistical, and untrusting. What's going on? Ben and I always knew that you couldn't possibly have powered individuals working under a remote without a remote failsafe. You always had to be the one pulling the strings, didn't you, Tony? So Peter gets a number on him, and he's like, damn it, Peter, didn't you? And he rips off his mask. You're like, damn, go, Peter. You're an idiot, both of you, kids with some schoolyard sense of right and wrong. You want some new layer of society where gods do what they want, policed only by who exactly? By other gods? You think you're above everyone. And this is like a really interesting thing, right? Because Tony is just a guy, right? He's just a man, he's rich, and he made suits. But these two have powers, superpowers. Well, the people are sick of it. They're sick of the endless destruction as you have whatever you like. And so he's lecturing them, and Parker comes back and is like, shut up. I won't be back at your beck and call because of who I am, Tony. You just proved today that you can't be trusted. Why would any of us trust you? Because I'm smarter than you. Because he's pokes his finger through Tony. I didn't catch this at first. He's poking his finger through Tony. He's like, I'm smarter than you. And because I saw what happened and I see what's coming. This is the U.S. Army and you're being drafted. So it's up to you. Do you want to be another number in the disciplinary barracks? Or do you want to be a captain? So that stings Steve Rogers there. There's only one way this ends. You know where to find me. So he's just a hologram the whole time. So Captain America, the Avengers are a resistance group, and they have to bug out. And but Cap comes to Spider-Man and says, do you have kids? So do they have powers? Yes. I won't respect you any less if you go to your family and forget about this war. But you have to realize, one day soon, Tony will come for them. You should know, there's an energy vampire chasing me. We'll deal with it together, son. Heh, son. We're both old men, Cap. We need to do what men should do and leave this world a better place before we go. I was just like, damn, Chip Zdarsky, you're fucking nailing it. Next issue, the 2010s. And I don't know if it's because I walked into this issue maybe expecting not as much, but this one has It may not be the best issue so far, but all of them are great. All of them. I don't know why people don't like every... I don't know why some people are just like, I didn't like the issue. This isn't the only one. Bats wasn't a fan of, I think, 3 and 4. I don't know why. I'm just like, this is some of the best comics I've read ever. My only problem with these books is Mark Bagley. And I like Mark Bagley. I think he'd be a terrific secondary Spider-Man book. Like Spectacular Spider-Man, Mark Bagley being the artist, it'd be great. He's really good with the action, the dynamicism. All these really great scenes like Peter being tossed into a bus and all this stuff. And he draws really cool, figures and he gets anatomy right. It looks comic book. This looks like a good comic book. But Zdarsky's on another level here. He's writing a really emotional story, a really human drama. And Bagley is just not up to par at just getting the facial expressions right. I mean, this is in old school comics, you just needed to draw a dude and make it recognizable. You didn't have to tell stories through facial expressions. Characters didn't need to act out anything. Everything was told through the word balloons. So Bagley is a little bit more old school, not perfectly suited for this. I do think, of course, like Marvel didn't understand what they had on their hands here. And so the editors didn't... I fault the editor on this. The editor didn't pair the right artist. They probably just thought, Bagley's a classic Spider-Man artist. That'll work. Whatever. That's a ticky-tacky. I'm sure a lot of people are fine with the art. I haven't heard anyone else complain about the art but me. And again, it's not because it's bad art. It's not fitting this type of story. It's not really an action story. This is the most action-packed comic of the whole series so far. The rest are mostly just human drama. And if you go back and just see, the stuff where, I'm trying to find the non-action parts, where just people are standing around talking and having drama, it's just like, whatever, It's just not Bagley's strong point, and that's fine. This is all just terrible. Not terrible, but just unfitting. Anyways, that's my only critique. This is a 5-star series. This is 5 stars. This is the best thing Marvel has done, I dare say, probably in 20 years. It's the only thing that I think people will be able to look back, and like they do with things like the Infinity Gauntlet and Marvels, and just look back and go, that was freaking-tastic. Like 20 years from now, this will resonate to a comic fan. I do believe. So if you're missing this, I urge you not to. I don't... How do I say this? Like, I don't have the ability to convey the emotion and feeling that this book is giving. It's just not possible. I can tell you how much I like it. I can tell you how great it is. But unless I just sit there and read the comic dramatically to you, and it's like, Ash, you kind of do that. It's like, I don't really. I skip like half of the stuff. You're not getting it. I promise you, my delivery is not doing it justice. So, anyways, I babbled on too long. I appreciate you watching every minute. I appreciate you not wasting your money on this. I ate it so you didn't have to. Go get some gummy bears. Go enjoy one of the best Spider-Man books in ages. And I'll see you next time. Excelsior.